Hi everyone, alongside Mike Trossel, I'm Dave Giancola, and thanks for joining us again for another US Open Classic finish. Now, Oakmont has hosted more US Opens than any other venue in history, and 2010 marked the second time it held the US Women's Open. Paula Creamer had a stellar career in the Open heading into this one in 2010, finishing in the top 20 each year between 04 and 09.
Yeah, Dave, and many thought 2010 would be her best opportunity to win, and the Pink Panther didn't disappoint in the early going, taking a 3-stroke lead into the final round. Na Choi had also surged into contention on Sunday with 3 birdies and an eagle in the front 9, with Suzann Pettersen also applying the pressure.
Yeah, we'll catch up with Paula Creamer on the par 5 12th as she looks to close out her first major title.
Fairly predictable there that it would come up short. We move up to 17. This just a moment ago. This is what can happen here at the short par 4. It does play uphill. It is a blind tee shot, but
keeps it up really high.
Just 229 yards to the hole, Johnny, and this is some kind of exciting.
Wow, look at this shot.
This is by a player that is by no means considered long, so it opens this opportunity up for the entire field.
Now live on the tee, Choi, and she's hitting less than a driver.
Yeah, looks like it's a 3-wood. Gary, a little bit of breeze in her face. Good solid strike going right at the flag.
Oh, it hits softly. That's a good shot. It's not a tough up and down from there. Of course, in the final round of the US Open in 07, this 17th hole was pivotal. Tiger Woods unable to get the ball up and down out of the bunker. Made a par. Furyk made a bogey trying to drive the green. We'll go over to 15.
Okay, what about this next shot for Lang?
Looks like she's going with the putter. Ball released from the bunker on through to the intermediate cut. And I guess she feels the lie is good enough to putt it. Flagstick is out.
Gotta be careful not to come up 4 feet short.
Jumped a bit.
Or busted by.
Hopped over. Yep. Well, this hole could be a breather, a little bit of a breather for Paula Creamer. Yep. When she sees that score posted.
Lang's
could be a double.
At least one. And here's Creamer for bogey.
Yeah. Raj, 3 feet or so, something like that?
Something like that. I would think just inside of that, and not a complicated putt at all. It's pretty much right center, I think, at most.
He made the mistake off the tee. The whole deal in this situation, don't compound that mistake with a 3-putt. Take your medicine and go on. You've got a birdie hole coming up at the 14th, and if you hit a good tee shot at 13, you might steal 2.
Okay. Safely in, drops just 1 shot. Lang struggling at 15, so still interesting as we go to the 15th.
And Christy Kerr looking for a birdie. Up and down roller coaster round for Kerr, and she can't believe that didn't fall.
4 birdies and 5 bogeys. She's usually not that inconsistent.
It's been that way just about every day.
And this, the biggest they play in women's golf. Paula Creamer with a 2-shot lead over Brittany Lang, but Lang's having problems at 15. Over at the 13th, we've got Amy Yang with a 6-iron.
Starts this ball out well right, trying to drop back and not coming.
Almost like she got lazy on that one.
Certainly didn't finish as high and as balanced as she has a few irons that we've seen her play prior.
And a big putt for Lang here to try to save the bogey.
Be interesting to look at the pacing of this putt. When she gets a little tense, tight, and starts overthinking it, it looks to me as if her tempo of the putter gets a little short and a little quick.
Lang said she was looking forward to seeing how she would feel and perform in the heat of this U.S. Women's Open. She's been hanging around the top of the leaderboard all week after taking the first round lead with a 69. And has worked especially hard on her putting the last year and a half.
Only top 10 this year, has been in the season's first major.
Got it. So she drops one. Only 2 3-putt greens this week for Brittany Lang, as no one has fewer. So she's been pretty solid, but loses a shot there. Falls 3 behind Creamer. And Creamer over at the 13th. Roger.
And Paula has selected 6-iron here. It feels like wind may be helping her ever so slightly back here at the tee.
You think she knows how she stands to the field, Roger?
Well, there's a lot of scoreboards out here. I don't know that she knows this very second. There's not a scoreboard near 12 green or around this tee box. There is one short right of the 13th green. She's got a pretty good idea.
Hit greens right now. Roger to get it on the green for the next few holes.
Well, shaping it right to left. This jumps right to the hole.
Oh, is that a beauty?
That's the best shot we've seen.
Had to be a little question mark in her mind too. That was the first full swing she had to make since we saw that big wince hole with the 3-wood back there.
Just a little shake out of the wrist after this shot.
This might be the shot of the day. This is make birdie here. Got a nice cushion.
Especially what happened at the 12th. After she had the problems and then the wrist hurting her at the previous hole. A look at the impact here as she comes down. Ooh, it takes a little jolt.
And that's why you have, wrist damage in golf. Is it just a lot of shock at impact, and you hit thousands of balls a week, and it's tough.
She is tough. Back over to 17.
And now Yoon Choi will be playing her second shot here at the short par 4.
And Gary's opted to take the putter just about 4 or 5 feet off the front edge, so about a 50-foot putt. Have some right to left break in it.
Like this play, Jane?
I do. The fringes are just perfect to putt from.
Fringes are only rolling at about 9.5 on the stimp meter.
Look at this. Oh. A little runaway right behind the hole, but that's a good lead. Cutting back uphill from there. So Paula Creamer coming back after the bogey at the 12th with a beautiful tee shot at 13. Can she make birdie? Stay with us.
Back out to the 16th.
And Brittany Lang on the tee with a 3 hybrid club in her hand. She's going to have to really smack this if she's going to get it anywhere near back to the hole.
She's just playing it to the left.
Well, yeah, but John, if you just barely get it on the green, you've got a tough 2-putt from there. That's up and over a couple little knobs, and very difficult to judge the speed. As we go to 14.
And Suzanne Pedersen for birdie needs to start making a move. Not able to get anything to drop.
Hasn't matched the speed and the line very well. The stroke looks pretty darn good.
She'll stay at +3 for back. This was a moment ago at 13. Amy Yang. Yang also at that +3 number. A chance to stay 4 back. Yang was just one off of Lang's first round lead with an opening round 70.
There's that little flip up shot you talked about, Donnie.
Yeah, it comes up so nice and soft, and it's got some spin on it. Look how good that shot is. You can see the ball spinning in the air.
17.
See if Choi can make birdie here at the easy par 4 17th. And Jie Shin missed her eagle opportunity, but did tap in for a birdie to move to +4 for the championship. That's 2 under par in her final round.
Gary, I would give this about 3.5 to 4 feet. Good news is she hopefully would have paid attention as it was going past the hole with her first putt, and should know the break.
Winner last week, Jamie Farr. Next Corning Classic in Toledo.
Keep it inside the hole.
Yep, she's got it. 6th birdie of the day. So she moves to +1 for the championship. Now just 2 off the lead, and Creamer has some tough holes left to play.
Wonderful crowds here this week. That grandstand full. They have nearly doubled up the crowds that they had here in 1992 for Sunday's final round. That to the right of the 13th. See the hillside up to the right of 14 full as well.
It's such a great leaderboard. Paula Creamer is sort of the Arnold Palmer of women's golf at the moment. And, you know, it's great to see her playing well. And nice story.
Yeah, everybody loves a comeback story, too.
Yang for par now to stay at +3 for off of Creamer's lead.
Has been in 8 bunkers this week. 4 today. Has yet to get one up and in.
Not the hardest putt in the world, is it?
Uphill, should move a little right.
Underread it.
She'll drop to +4. This was a moment ago. Lexi Thompson at 14 after a beautiful second shot. Can't convert it.
There's a weakness. It's that. Putting hasn't quite caught up with the rest of her game.
Look at Colin Can, Paula Creamer's caddy, get down there and read this putt. This will be some birdie after what happened at 12 and give herself even more cushion.
You see him motioning to where he believes the fall line of the green is. Try to find the straightest angle and then move from where that is to your ball.
Talk about the toughness and the competitiveness of Paula Creamer. Talking with her dad today, he says Paula got a lot of that from his mother, her grandmother, who she was very close to growing up. They played all sorts of board games, card games. And when I asked Paul, when did you first notice that competitiveness? He said that was it. She doesn't like to lose at anything, and it just stayed with her in the game of golf. Very close to her grandmother, who passed away 7 years ago. But her grandfather, Thomas, watching from Ithaca, New York at the age of 92.
Well, she bogeyed the par 5 4th, came back with the birdie on the next, now bogeyed the par 5 12th. See if she can do it again.
Yeah, Rod, she'll tell you that's the stat she keeps an eye on really closely and is most proud of when it turns out in her favor.
This for a 3-stroke lead over Choi. She wanted that. 3 strokes is quite a bit different from 2.
16.
Brittany Lang putting from the very front edge of the green, hole cut back on some 29 paces. So, okay, this putt almost 90 feet.
Yeah, I figure it a good 85-footer. And uphill initially, then swinging left to right.
Very difficult to get the speed correct. Hit it a little bit and underread the break dramatically, so she's got a long putt left for a par. We go to 18.
And this is a big shot for Na Yun Choi, just a couple back of Creamer.
She's made 3 pars here this week.
Such an important tee shot, and she seems to like it. Not watching it, and boy, that was a good start to this third toughest hole on the course.
This was the same hole where Angel Cabrera just busted his drive down the 18th hole on his way to winning the U.S. Open back here in 2007. Paula Creamer has gone through a lot this week. A lot of golf, up early here at the golf course late with the weather that arrived here on Friday. And this is one tough woman here who we're watching here dealing with that thumb surgery and hanging in there.
Well, she wants it so badly. Of course, speaking with our leader, Paula Creamer, and with her 8 wins at 23, she's on sort of a pace for a Hall of Fame type career if she can start winning some majors with the regular wins. And this one, she'd not want to let another one go, right?
No, certainly, but I think she does have one really good thing in her favor. Of the last 4 holes on the golf course, she has played 3 of them under par this week. That is something that very few players have done.
You can see the 8 LPGA Tour wins, most without a major, tied with Rachel Hetherington and Mi Hyun Kim. So just 23 years old, has done a lot of winning out here in a very short period of time, but You do not want these near misses in these championships to pile up anymore.
And with Choi maybe set to make par on the last hole, she's got to play some golf to win this championship, because only got a 2-stroke lead with someone in the clubhouse maybe at +1.
Wendy Ward in this group plays first, and Rogers on the scene.
It's a good-looking tee shot going down to the left side a bit.
Nice swing there, right up the plane.
That'll be fine.
37-year-old veteran is really righted the ship after starting off with a triple. She's played even par golf since the opening problems. Paula Creamer is next. Look at her line, pretty solid.
Well, not a tough hole if you drive it in the fairway.
Yep, it's an easy hole location.
It's going up the right-hand side.
Ooh, it's started to get a kick left, but that hides down there in the thick rough.
Is not going to let her play an offensive sort of shot into this green. She's going to have to take what the lie gives her, and maybe what the opening in the front of the green will give her.
And what her wrist can withstand. It's going to test her wrist. See if she leaves that face open at impact. Yep. And then it squares up. It's a little late with the squaring up.
Up at 16.
Where Brittany Lang faces a difficult putt for a par 3 to remain at +2.
She's got to make this.
Yeah, it's a tough putt to read. Johnny Ball actually tends to want to go toward the back of the green. It's very hard to tell.
Doesn't look like she's aiming for it.
No, she got it over there.
Oh, that didn't do anything.
Stayed pretty straight, but that's a 3-putt bogey at a very inopportune time. She will drop to +3 as we go to 18.
Good look at the hole location. One of the toughest holes here through all these championships, through all these years at Oakmont. Now Yun Choi with a good drive has a good look here.
Good lie, just on a little bit of an upslope. 74 to the front, 198 to the hole. Hybrid.
194 yards to get it on the proper deck.
Didn't like it.
No, it's going left.
High standards.
She's got such a good accurate game that's a big pull for her.
Choi the closest to Creamer, who inches closer to that elusive first Women's Open title. This happened while we were away. Christina Kim second at 15. +5, 6 off the lead.
In the air.
Second toughest
Just a
fairway
couple
to
inches.
hit, so she's ahead of the ball game already.
She'll do a little talking. That's a shot.
Now that looks like Cabrera shot in there in 2007.
The one that he looked at in almost disbelief. It came so close. Ended up being a tap in for Cabrera on his way to victory. Now Creamer over at 14. What about this lie, Roger?
A bit of a bird's nest lie. The grass is not super deep, but I don't believe she's going to be able to get any spin on the ball. 110 to the front, 118 to the hole. You just got to try to figure out how you can land it the right distance and get it to release. But it could put a little pressure on her thumb.
You see that flagstick is just sitting there for the taking.
Drove the ball so well to start the round. Now she's missed the last 2 fairways.
Pick it up and get on it quick without going through all the grass.
She made good contact and it's on a good line.
Man, what a good
what a shot. Very, very nice there. Controlled beautifully.
You want to be steep on that shot, Roger.
17.
Brittany Lang on the tee here again. The par 4, 229 yards, does play considerably uphill, and it is a blind shot. But Brittany Lang certainly with the length to reach this hole in 1.
This morning when she played this hole, she mishit her tee shot, came up short left in the rough, but managed to get it up and down for a birdie.
What is the line about right here?
Yeah, I think that's it, John. Just left of the tower. You can see some 37 feet uphill from the team ground to the putting surface.
Definitely don't want to miss it left.
Short left is not bad. Long left is no good.
Well, that grass is a little more favorable for the girls than it was for the guys, but wow, what an awful miss that is.
Total mishit
That
there.
was a huge mishit.
You know, she had said early in the week her strategy at 17 was going to be to play a 5-iron or short iron off the tee and hit a wedge in. She changed that strategy there, and it not good. All right, back at 16, IK Kim.
Needs a great finish.
Tee shot with a 3 hybrid club. All right, will it roll to the right? No. Just creep into the intermediate cut of rough.
Well, here at Oakmont for the second time, a look at the future sites of this championship. Off of the Broadmoor again, Colorado Springs, and then it's off the Black Wolf Run where Se-Ri Pak won in 1998 to ignite that explosion of Korean players on the tour. Then it's to Sabonik on Long Island. Pinehurst, they'll go back-to-back in the U.S. Open and the U.S. Women's Open that year. And if you're interested in heading to Colorado for the 66th edition, you can get on to 2011USWomen'sOpen.com for tickets right now.
That'll be pretty also, Broadmoor.
Out to 15, and Suzanne Pedersen running out of holes here. 4 off the lead. Needs to start rolling them in.
If Paula Creamer does win, she'll probably want to kiss Suzanne's putter for letting her do that, because Suzanne definitely played the best tee to green.
Yeah,
she should have won this championship really with just okay putting.
Yeah, the class of the ball striking, no doubt. But I still get the sense if she could see one go in, it might change the whole outlook for her.
She's got to at least get to +1. So, you know, one of these has got to go in either this hole or 18 and birdie 17, which is pretty easy for her if she hits a good shot.
Much more fidgeting today over the putter than there has been throughout the week. She's been pretty clean and concise.
Just has not got touch.
I mean, she literally hasn't made a thing today. And you can see her putting this week, 34, 35, 34, and 26 already today.
Paula Creamer getting ready, leaving nothing to chance here at Oakmont. A lot of the players getting their first look at this incredible, difficult golf course. A year ago, Paula Creamer's agent called us up at NBC to request DVDs of the third and final rounds of the 2007 U.S. Open here at Oakmont to get an idea of Oakmont in championship condition and an idea of the breaks and nuances that the men dealt with. And I would say it's a pretty good move.
Well, if that stuff is out there, why wouldn't you look at it?
And little did you know that 17 of the 18 hole locations would be identical to the final round in 2007. USGA just put them in the same spots.
You know, the thought was to see how the women would perform on a relatively to strength to ball speed to spin comparable golf course, and they've got it.
That is a 3-shot lead for Creamer.
That's a good birdie out of the rough.
4 holes left.
This white putter has been the difference for her. It might be number 1 or 2 in putting this week.
It's white hot right now. What a turnaround by Creamer after the flinching of the wrist on 12, which led to her second bogey. And you had an idea at that point that you didn't know if she was going to hang on to this back 9, but the par 13, birdie at 14, and it's within her sights.
See how emotional Paul is already getting with the realization it might be a win.
And don't go there too soon.
Jie Shin for birdie at 18 a moment ago.
Oh man, are you kidding me? That is fantastic.
She knows it.
Number 1 player in the world before Ai Miyazato took it away, and then Christy Kerr, who's the present number 1.
She popped to the top right after Lorena retired.
How about that finish? 3 birdies in the last 4 holes for Shin. 68, third best round of this championship, and now a big putt for Choi.
does go right, coming up the hill all the way. It'll break right, Dottie.
And it is slow to start and then gains a little speed.
It's not a huge break, but it does move right the whole way. She hit it.
She did not.
Even close. That's a classic putt when you're really under a lot of pressure. You just sort of freeze on it.
It's going to make it easier for Creamer down the stretch, maybe with a bogey there at 18. Now Lang at 17.
And an incredibly difficult second shot out of this fairway bunker, about, what, 50, 60 yards from the hole?
56 yards to the hole. Had to have her caddy give her the line. She cannot see the flagstick from where she's hitting from.
Don't want to go long, do you? No.
Sounded like a lot of golf ball.
That's not good.
You might have bid on that bank, but I don't know.
It's still not an easy up and down from
That's
there.
that's what I mean. It got that big side hill wide, maybe.
Only about 3 paces of green. We'll go back to the 16th. Natalie Gulbis with a chance for a birdie 2. A.K. Kim has played a nice pitch down and has a short putt for a par. This one should move to her right. There we go. First birdie of the day for Natalie Gulbis. Just the 3rd birdie recorded here at 16 all day.
Got a great attitude.
Over to 15.
And Christina Kim for birdie. Didn't move.
Never looked at the putt till it didn't clunk.
Part of a playoff, which Na-Yeon Choi won last week. Kim was in, and now at the 15th hole with a 3-shot lead.
A blind tee shot. Want to hit it right down the strip there, and she has done that. Just split that little 6-foot strip.
Well, that's a bonus. Less than half of the players have hit this fairway this week, and I think that would catch a touch of a white line if it was right up the middle.
You know, I think it's really cool the USGA does that on these blind tee shots, puts this, you know, the walking area right where you want to hit it. So you have, you know, if you hit it over that strip, you got a good one.
Well, this to post the number that Creamer will have to beat, most likely. Choi to stay at +1.
And it's just that awkward length, about 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet, just enough to make your bones seriously shake, Johnny.
Yeah, that's what you want, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's what all professionals practice for.
She hasn't missed a putt in a long time. I mean, this length putt, she's made every one I've seen the last couple hours.
She had that one costly 3-putt on this back 9 that kind of took the steam out of her charge that she started.
Game went out in 5 under 31. An eagle at the 9th has cooled off. Even par golf in the back.
Most likely at least second placed.
So that is the number right now. That's one. Look at that round. 66 for Choi. So all of a sudden we're seeing some rounds in the 60s. That's the second best round of the championship for Na-Yeon Choi, who will begin to wait to see if it's good enough. But Paula Creamer right now with a 3-shot lead with 4 holes to play. The latest birdie coming at 14 to get it back to 2 under.
Welcome back at the 16th. Suzanne Pedersen on the tee with a 3 hybrid club.
Stay in the air!
Well, she's yelling for it to stay in the air. It's on line, and it does. Beautiful tee shot. Leaves an uphill putt for a birdie from there. We go up to 17. Brittany Lang, 3rd shot here at the short par 4. This is not an easy shot, Johnny. Very little green to work with.
It's almost 8 feet deep, and that's the best way to stop it. Hit the flag.
That's still 15 feet or so for par. Back to 15.
We're taking a deep breath. Par golf, and then some. Cushion gets it done down the stretch here.
She only missed one fairway. Well, 2. She missed the last one by a foot. A couple feet. Look at her card. Came into this final round 3 clear of Wendy Ward, who was faded. Bogey, couple of birdies on the opening 9. The wrist hurt her badly on her second shot at the par 5 12. Made a bogey, but then came back with a par and a birdie since. Seems to have restored her confidence.
The side hill line, Dottie. You gotta somehow make it go towards the target.
Just give yourself enough room to hit the normal shot, the shot that should come from this lie.
It actually is, Roger, one of the biggest targets, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's quite wide. I mean, it was an important tee shot to get in the fairway, certainly. She's done that. Now only has 151 left to the hole, 143 front. You're trying to land it somewhere around the front, and a little bit left. The hole should work a little right.
It's looking like 12, 15 feet left to the hole.
Here with that signpost for the 16th tee would be just beautiful.
Come on. It's just left to the hole. Nice shot. How about this?
That's nice.
Yeah, Cabrera's spot. The big tag. Plus kind of the same kind of incredulous look that Paula has on right now. That, boy, things are going my way.
And where she's standing, it looks like a leaner. It was a nice.
Come on. Come on.
Right below the hole. And Paula, through those shades, was watching it all the way. Chance for back-to-back birdies to increase the lead. Lang at 17.
This for par. Turning to her left. All right, good save, but the hole she needed to birdie. So Brittany Lang finds herself 5 off Paula Creamer's lead. Creamer with the spectacular second shot at 15. Big smile on her face. Is she striding toward a U.S. Women's Open Championship? We'll find out.
For her first major breakthrough. Lead is 3. She just stiffed it at 15. Has a chance to open up the lead to a full 4 shots with just 3 holes to play. To 17.
IK Kim on the tee. I think this young lady would have to really catch one to get it all the way there. She's got it right in the opening.
Yeah, well, how about a 2 on this par 4?
Very nice. All right, back at 16. Huge putt for Suzanne Pedersen and Jane Crafter. I know you've hustled over to catch up with this group.
Well, Gary, it looks to me like it has just a little bit of right to left in it. Not a whole lot. Very, very makeable, clearly.
This putt doesn't break, Gary?
It won't break much, John. Very, very straight from here. She hit it firmly enough. Finally, Suzanne Pedersen gets one in. She's at +2, and she certainly has the length to drive the next hole. And we talk about this 17th and what can happen here. Here's Sophie Gustafson with a 3-wood, one of the longer hitters on the LPGA Tour.
Boy, some speed there.
Yeah.
Nice ball. Nice ball.
Well, they like it back on the tee.
Oh,
here's
as
why.
they should, Gary. What?
Look at this.
Looking at a chasing a 1.
Look at this. Sophie made a 2 here just the other day, and she's got about a 4-footer for another.
Well, sometimes there are pretty good omens in these championships through the years. And in these championships,
I know from looking at her face, known her for a long time, that she is sort of, it's not battling, but just the emotions are just coming to the surface. You can see it, and she's performing great, but such an exciting moment for her.
just for a 4-shot lead in the Women's Open. You said you've known her for a few years. She won the Johnny Miller Jr. Classic, which was held at Silverado years ago. 11 or 12 years old. Her dad said that it was a real treat for her to get into the field, much less win it. She won it a couple of times, I think, and you actually presented the trophy to her out there.
Yeah, I did, and you know, I knew she was good, but who knew that she might be looking, it looks like a United States Women's Open champion. It's very exciting.
He'll tell you too that the golf course she grew up on at home was very, very hilly, and there's a common denominator among the golf courses that Paula Creamer has won on. She won at Evian, she won at Waikiki, the win at Half Moon Bay, the win here. They are all hilly golf courses that require a lot of imagination and the ability to hit some pretty unstable shots.
That golf course, Castlewood Country Club in Pleasanton, California. She lived on the first hole. Her dad said he couldn't really get her to get to the golf course much other than to take a few golf cart rides. And then when she turned 10 years old, he finally got her to the range. He was heading out of the house, and Paula said, "Can I come with you?" So she hit a few balls. She got kind of hooked on the game, and then at the age of 12, she decided she wanted to check out the David Ledbetter Academy. And her father told me, I didn't know anything about the David Ledbetter Academy, which was on the opposite end of the coast in Florida. He got on the internet, checked it out. They went and took a visit. She loved it. They went a couple of months. They went and took a second visit, ended up moving out to Florida with 4 suitcases and a couple of bags of clubs, and just got hooked on the game, hooked up with her coach, David Whelan, and he has been her coach ever since. But, you know, in this day and age where parents usually are pushing their kids to go to academies, this was all Paula's idea.
She has the passion for it, and well, I'll tell you, the last 3 approach shots that she has hit, just look at those shots. You know, you really should have burned the last 3, Roger.
Absolutely, hit a great shot in at 13, just to miss the putt. Much longer than 5 feet, 6 feet.
Her father was a pilot for American Airlines, and making the move from coast to coast is a big move. He said, "I'm not going to break up the family just so you can go to this academy." So he actually had to be transferred by the airline from San Francisco to Miami to make it all work. What you'll do for your kids to make their dreams come true.
Well, she wants a safe par, Gary.
That was a 5-wood. Another beauty. I tell you what a performance, Johnny, on this back nine. Shot after shot.
The first 4 shots in a row.
Making her mom and dad proud today on the threshold of winning the biggest championship, the U.S. Women's Open. Beautiful, unique clubhouse at Oakmont in the background, hosting its 15th USGA championship, 2nd Women's Open title on the line here. Patty Sheehan winning the first back in 1992 in a playoff with Julie Inkster. Paula Creamer beginning to pull away from the field here. 4-shot lead, has just been hitting one spectacular shot after another on this back nine as we go to 17.
And Dan, this was just a moment ago. IK Kim for an eagle 2. Just over 40 feet. Had the line, just lacked a little speed. Sophie Gustafson for the eagle 2. Made an eagle on this hole yesterday. Drove it on the green and made it from about 30 feet. There you go. That's what can happen here at the 17th. Finally something good for her. She moves back to +9 for the championship.
Talking about these incredible shots on this difficult golf course down the stretch, Johnny, you've watched a lot of golf through the years on a lot of difficult golf courses. This is about as impressive as it gets here.
It is, because this is a very difficult hole location, isn't it, Dottie? Way left, and she just takes dead aim.
It is, and I think important to remember she had just come off what looked like a really wobbly bogey at the 12th.
And this shot, I thought might hurt her wrist. She picks it up real quickly, comes down on it, and traps it right at the target. A very important shot right here. Chases it on, makes that putt right there for 2 birdies in a row.
And the lead has swelled to 3. And in this one we just showed you at 15.
Big side hill lie, trying to keep it about 15 feet left of the target, and just sort of bleeds it into the right and for Arena.
Yeah, it's a hole where you really have to hit 2 perfect golf shots to set up an opportunity, and she did it.
That for the 4-shot lead, and then at 16.
Probably the best of the 4. I mean, this shot here, nobody's getting it close all day long. And hits it, comes down softly, just plays the break and says, thank you very much.
Talk about the miscues in the previous Women's Open. I think what she said after that meltdown at Interlaken, Donnie, she said, my favorite word is patience. Everybody dreams about winning the Open. And at the time, she said, I got wrapped up in it. I didn't think about the things I should have thought about. I truly know I got in my own way. I learned how to realize next time I'm in that situation, I should have been able to see it coming. So sometimes you have to kind of walk through the gauntlet before you win these big titles.
Without a doubt.
How about this putt?
Yeah, Johnny, Brittany had a very nice drive down the right side and got Got it on the putting surface, yes, but she was close to 75 feet away. Just putt through a big trough, big left to right break.
Kind of what you love to putt when you're a kid, you know. It's just a lot of imagination that goes along and then drops down into a big valley and then shoots up to the right up the bank.
There were the ones you made at sunset when nobody was around and you danced around like a fool when you made them.
Much like Paula Creamer, Brittany Lang's dad introduced her to the game. She bugged to get to the golf course. In fact, when her dad came home from work, she said, "Take a look at my swing in the yard." And finally, it just kept being grooved and grooved. And here she is playing for a living on the LPGA Tour at 17.
Suzanne Petterson with a 3-wood.
Somebody liked it, Gary.
Well, I think the line is good. Will it be far enough? The wind has now come up a little bit, as you can see there, and it's into the players' faces. So up that hill, it's playing a little longer.
Nice shot, though.
It's very well positioned. Well, flying high above us today at Oakmont Country Club, you can see the MetLife blimp. Find out why millions of Americans look to MetLife every day to get guarantees for the if in life. Visit MetLife.com.
That is a different wind than the players have faced there at the 17th and 18th as well.
Just a beautiful day here outside the Pittsburgh area. Just some light, white, fluffy clouds and a lot of blue sky.
It's a treat to be here, isn't it?
Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful venue.
Walter Higgins said this is the epitome of championship golf. This golf course right here.
I think the girls playing here is going to make them better. When you play a track like this, you'll know if you can play. Everything else looks pretty simple when you look at it in comparison.
You know, there were so many horror stories about what the finishing score was here at the first part of the week. You know, oh, somebody's going to win at +8, +9, +10. Well, we got a lot of players not near that highest score, and the leader right now sitting at 3 under.
Remember, it was 4 under here the last time the Women's Open was played in 1992, so we're on par for that.
Well, the greens aren't holding today, though. Yeah, that's been the big difference. Is tees are up, the greens are holding, and a great play.
17, Lexi Thompson. 3-wood. That should be plenty of close. There we go. That'll chase onto the putting surface, so a chance for an eagle too.
Just amazing how straight the women hit their fairway woods. Just in the woods. Just, it's incredible. That's a tiny little opening there.
Yes, it is. It's about 8 yards wide, Johnny, by my count.
On a blind tee shot.
All right, we'll go back to 16, and Paula Creamer with a chance for a birdie too. Amy Yang hit a beautiful shot in there too, but unable to take advantage of it.
Even after hitting a beautiful shot like that, Gary, I mean, it's still a tricky little putt. Going to have to get it off the hole on the left-hand side, even from this little distance, I believe, if you hit it at the right speed. And, you know, this golf course just doesn't let up, ever.
Trying to stay in that moment.
Yeah, take your time. Take a deep breath. Just
trying to get that line on her ball where she wants it.
Calm yourself as much as you can.
I saw her back on the tee with that kind of starting to gurgle a little, starting to enjoy it, and then she put the cap right back on it. Time to get back to business.
Pushed.
Yeah, that was the miss we saw toward the end of the third round. She has several putts to the right. Never quite squared the putt face up, but still a very good par on a very tough hole. Lead is still 4. And Suzanne Petterson's second shot. Jane?
Gary, she actually hit 5 wood. I think she didn't judge the wind correctly. Couldn't feel much of it down at the tee. But it really did gust up when she hit, and it came up, I'd say about 8 paces short of the green.
A good time to pull it out, Gary.
Yes, it would.
There's never a bad time to haul it out, Johnny, is there?
No, right there.
That's how stable her foundation is when she chips. There's just no movement.
Oh, very aggressive.
Wow. A lot of click there.
Her head came up awful quick. I know that. Very curious too early.
up at 18.
And Brittany Lang for par.
She sure
+3.
made it interesting, Dan, for a little while today. Just kind of petered out.
Breaks to the right.
There you go. What a two-putt.
Solid from where she was. So the first round leader with a closing round 69 matching her round on Thursday. And we'll keep it here for Christy Kerr. Looked early on in this championship. Dottie, you and Johnny both called her the favorite. She looked like the favorite earlier on until Creamer kind of took charge.
Well, she had a stretch yesterday on the front nine with back-to-back doubles where she was pretty well rattled. Made another double at the 10th and tried to dig her way out, but just way too deep.
The stroke is sort of falling apart. Normally that's his strength.
Absolutely.
There are 75s in the third and fourth rounds.
Back at 17, Lexi Thompson with a chance for a 2, par 4. Turn to the left, toward the back of the green, and slightly back up the hill. Never quite struck firmly enough, but to say a lot for this 15-year-old youngster who double bogeyed the first hole and has managed to play even par since then. And I guess a little bit of a decision for Paula Creamer back on the tee.
It's a hard layup if you want to lay it in.
Well, especially from this new front tee, Johnny. It's very awkward. The layup is actually blind. You play to a very crowned fairway, and if you go a little too far to the left, the ball kicks left toward these bunkers that you'll see, and if you go just slightly too far to the right, the fairway slants and runs the ball into the rough.
Still got to lay up, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, you've got enough club with a driver certainly to carry it over all of these bunkers that you're looking down at, the 5 that guard the left-hand side.
I'm her caddy. I'm telling her to lay up.
We'll see. We'll go to 18.
And Natalie Gulbis in her second.
All right, Raj, you won, buddy. She's laying up.
I could be her caddy.
There you go.
Thought you were going to run in there and tackle the bag if she had a driver out, Raj.
No, I just think this is the play. I really do.
Nice ball. It's going to kick just into the intermediate cut of rough, so lie should not be an issue.
Good shot.
Up to 18.
Min Kyung Kim in her second, coming off a birdie at 17 at +2. High up on that board right now.
I'll say.
In a tie for third. A little chip shot there. A one-hander coming up.
Get the scooter up there, but she did a nice job of it. Might be a little warm, but that is pretty darn good.
Very clever. I like that little shot. She'll have a chance to tie Na Yun Choi's +1 number, which is in solo second right now. Back to 17.
And Suzanne Pedersen looking at, I'm sure, Jane, a much longer putt for a birdie than she anticipated.
Well, Gary, I was just going to ask you your thoughts. I think I might have putted it from there. These fringes are so smooth and they're so tight. Very difficult to really judge your chip shots well. And, you know, when you're nervous and under a lot of pressure, you can easily end up where she has ended up.
Do you think that was influenced by the fact that she's not made anything today until the 16th hole?
Well, that is a possibility. But now she's faced with 18 feet downhill.
Be firm enough.
Bit of an early head movement there, Gary.
Yeah, that I think has been pretty typical, Jane. When you miss a lot of putts, you're anxious to see if one might be going in, and often when that happens, you don't strike the putt very solidly. It's a disappointment for Suzanne Pedersen there at 17. Paula Creamer marching to victory, it appears, in the Women's Open. We'll be right back.
The 16th USGA title looks like it'll go to Paula Creamer, who will win her first major championship, but still has some work left here on the last couple of holes. And this was happening while we were away, Gary.
It was. Yang with her tee shot using a 3-wood. We talked about the club head speed that she's able to generate.
Be good. Come on,
be right. He says be good, and it was. Flew it right to the front edge of the green. Gets it to release back toward the hole within 12 feet. Great chance for an eagle too.
Gary, you've had a pretty cool seat there at the 17th
Well, I tell
today.
you what, it is an exciting hole, Dottie, and it comes at a wonderful point in the championship in my mind. Gives the players a lot of options.
I just can't believe how many great shots we're seeing on this tough. It's just very narrow and it's blind. So, of course, speaking about narrow, we're here at 18, third hardest hole in the course, sometimes the hardest hole.
Suzanne Pedersen.
Playing up about 30 yards from where it was yesterday.
Now this one's starting down the middle, trying to work a tad to the right, but solid shot.
Wonderful tee shot there.
Fairway slopes left to right, but that'll be fine on the right side.
She has driven that golf ball so well this week, and I thought that would be her key, not the putting.
Back at 17.
Creamer and her caddy Colin Can discussing the situation, and Roger, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward shot.
Yes, it is. She and Wendy Ward have virtually the same distance left. I don't know that they've looked at each other and determined who might play first, but Paula's drawn a very good lie just off the edge of the fairway here. I mean, it even takes the chunk out of it from the tightly mown area at the fairway. So a good angle. I think she needs to hit the ball right of the hole, give herself a little room should the ball go long. Biggest danger, she's got to avoid the front bunker, obviously, and the back left. You don't want any part of. So a little bit right of the hole, and pretty straightforward wedge.
That big deep bunker you see right there guarding the front of the green, called Big Mouth by the members here. It's about 10 feet deep, and you're right, you don't want any part of that.
It's funny to watch her body language. She's just so emotional right now, just incredibly flushed in the face, and different body language than normal, and you can tell it's like, I can't believe I'm actually going to do this.
Yeah, a lot of deep breaths.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you can look at her face, it's, got a real emotional look to it, but she's performing like off the charts.
Johnny, I really think this has been, at least to this point, kind of the final maturing process in her career. I mean, she's owned her swing, she's owned her emotions, she's played beautiful golf, and hasn't been caught up in the moment.
It's fun to watch people execute, isn't it, Gary? When
Yeah, it really is.
When there's a lot of pressure and doing something they've never done before.
It's about the 4th or 5th time we've seen her back off, and each time she's wiping the palm of her right hand, probably a little extra sweat there, and that happens.
We said there were going to be tears of disappointment or tears of joy. So into this, so desperately wants it.
Going way up in the air, right of the hole. Execute.
Probably right where she was aiming.
Likes that one. Tiptoeing through a jangling of nerves, Gary.
The Roger Maltby School of Golf Management.
Oh, another one on.
Sigh of relief. Yeah. Even though it was only 75 yards, a lot could have gone wrong there. We go to 18.
IK Kim, the 2005 U.S. Girls Junior Champion. Very quick ball. Has finished tied for 3rd in each of the last 2 Women's Opens. And IK here going to finish in at +2 here. Another high finish. In fact, remember, she was tied for the lead with 1 hole to play last year at Saucon Valley before finishing with a bogey.
I watched her play a practice round, and I have to say she spent the most time chipping around these greens of any of the players I saw, from just throw the ball into the long stuff and hit the unexpected shot. She really did a nice job preparing.
Looks like she's got Na-Yeon Choi's pants on there, just in the shorter
version.
And Gulbis now.
Big week for her. Last year she did not qualify to play in the Women's Open at Saucon Valley, and I think there was a lot of questions about a player like this not being in the field, a player like Michelle Wie not being in the field last year. They got the best into this championship field this year. Players just played their way in.
Can't have a better putt out of it than this, I can tell you that. Straight up the hill, maybe a tiny bit of break pulled out, but pretty straight. Should be able to make this, I think. Good putt. This doesn't break. I was trying to make it break, but it was great.
Davis at age 27, still the one win coming back at the 2007 Evian Masters, which came in her 151st start, but this will be her best result of the year and a tie for 15th.
Just has such a great attitude. It's nice to see.
Back at 17.
And it appears that Paula Creamer will be next to putt at Raj if she does go on to win this Women's Open, which it certainly appears she will. She has played the par 4s in 5 under par this week, and that is pretty remarkable on this golf course.
Golf in your ball.
It really is.
You don't do that from the rough around here either.
Well, she's driven it just like Ben Hogan today. I'm telling you, just one hiccup on 12 on Roger, and everything else has been great.
And that wasn't a bad miss. It ended up in a bad spot, but she didn't miss her mark by much. I'm sure she was trying to drive the ball up the left side of that fairway because it slopes so hard left to right. So it really has been very impressive from the tee.
What's this do, Gary or Raj?
I would think it's slightly downhill from here. It would move just a little bit to her left. Is that what you see, Gary?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Raj, there's not a tremendous amount of break in it.
No.
Cozy it down there with option to drop. That was quick.
Up to 18.
And IK Kim getting it +2. Another high finish for her. A very solid final round of 68. Back out to 18. Look at this marvelous view from behind Pedersen up at the clubhouse. Second shot from 174.
Well, you can see that ball trying to cut toward the flagstick.
The shot hits that bank and pops up. Just where you want it, straight in putt.
Another great example of what we've been seeing from Pedersen all week long. Back to 17.
And the eagle putt now for Amy Yang. Raj, pretty similar line to Creamer's putt.
Pretty much the same putt here, Gary.
Just a tie for second at the moment.
Yes, nicely done. Amy Yang to +2 for the championship. Very nice. Moves into a tie for third with Pedersen and IK Kim.
She looks like a star.
I tell you what, that's a very good golf swing. Creates a lot of speed, as we saw there, hitting that 3-wood right up there next to the hole. Roger, this one creep a little farther by than she would have liked?
Yes.
Honest answer.
And I'm thinking at this point in time, 2 or 3 inches by would be a little, yeah, a little further by than she wanted to hit. Just not a tough putt now. Slightly uphill, inside the hole.
Okay, safely in. Well played hole. She will head to the final tee. 4-shot lead.
Well, that stretch of great approach shots sure made this walk a lot easier going to the 18th tee.
Going through the sea of crowd. You mentioned Arnold Palmer earlier, Johnny. He's the Arnold Palmer of this tour. 2 other guys really come to mind when you try to equate the popularity of a Paula Creamer. She's like the Phil Mickelson of the regular tour, the Fred Couples now of the Champions Tour. They're clearly the 3 most popular players on their respective tours right now as Lexi Thompson comes in here to 18.
Maybe a future superstar.
Yep.
They've got 285 yards down at the 18th tee.
Her distance, if she keeps improving, she could just take over the women's tour. It's very possible if she keeps improving.
Here it is, this straightaway par 4 at 18.
Yeah, it's playing 430 today. It's played up to even farther than that. The tee is up, and that takes this bunker on the left. It's been such a problem, a little out of play, but still a tough fairway to hit, left to right slope. And then the hole location's in sort of the right side there, and it's, you know, it's a great straight hole. It's hard to make a great straight hole, but this is one of them. It's great design. You can see the water in the old design. It always have little avenues for the water to get off the greens on these. You know, the base of it is out of clay, and then there's just dirt on top of them. So they had to have a lot of tilt to get the water up. Second toughest hole today.
As you look at Yang, who's beginning to play more golf over here in the United States. Got into this field based on her 45th position on the money list last year. Top 50 on the money list getting into the Women's Open. And that one way off the mark.
And there's some deep bunkers. I mean, she'll have to lay it up probably short of the cross bunker from there, even if she's got, unless she's got the most perfect lie in history. But I don't see any way to go for the green. Taking a couple hard swishes here just to get the whatever out, cobwebs out of Dottie.
I'm thinking there's not many cobwebs there right now.
You know,
there might be a few emotions.
It's the nervousness.
Sweaty palms.
Yeah.
But she has thought her way very clearly throughout, especially these last 2 days. It's taken a long time to play these required rounds. They've been out here forever with the rain delays.
By the end of the day, Dottie, she will have played 52 holes in a little less than 35 hours.
Right up the center, guys.
How about this, the last 2 rounds, Roger?
How about that? That's a tremendous tee shot.
That's just right up the middle, Roger.
She's hit 24 out of the last 28 fairways.
Sounds like a recipe for a U.S. Women's Open champion, Paula Creamer, about to realize a lifelong dream. Mentioned Fred Couples. He'll be a part of the field along with Tom Watson as they battle it out for the U.S. Senior Open. Fred growing up in the Seattle area where he was first spotted as one of the great talents at a very young age. And Paula Creamer, who's been playing this game a long time and really is what you call a model pro. Just has been tutored so well in the game and really off the course as well by her dad. And speaking of her dad, she's with Kay Cockrell.
Oh, Paul Creamer, I have walked alongside of you many years watching your daughter. Can you tell us what this moment is like right now as she goes down the 18th fairway with a 4-shot lead?
Thank God it's 4 shots. I'll say that. I'm glad it's not 1. So I'm just happy for her. She's worked extremely hard and persevered, and people have no idea what she's been through the last 4 months, and this is a big win for her, no doubt about it. It's not over till it's over, but you know, let's get it in the hole.
You guys are so close. You almost feel every beat of her heart as you're walking yourself. What are you feeling at this moment, and what do you think she's going through?
I think I'm numb, I mean, quite truthfully. I don't know what I'm thinking. You know, a million different things. I just know how hard she's worked, and I'm just so happy for her.
Well, we'll look forward to watching you give her a big hug on 18. Thanks, Paul.
It'll be a big one.
Thank you, Kay. He mentioned what they've been going through for 4 months as Pedersen has this putt for birdie at 18 to get into a tie with Na Yun Choi. Yeah. Yes! Tie for second now. Pedersen finally gets a putt to drop. A little late, but nonetheless a 69 for Pedersen.
What a well-played championship tee to green.
It was, and birdies at 2 of the last 3. It kind of shows you what's in her gut. It was a real struggle to that point, and she was not going to give up.
The 4th runner-up of the year, but just to follow up on what Paul Creamer was talking about with Paula 4 months ago, he told me that Paula was crying on his shoulder, wondering if she would ever play golf again. That is how serious that wrist injury was, that wrist surgery was. You never know how it's going to turn out. There were no guarantees by the doctors. And imagine what that must have felt like to maybe know that you weren't going to play this game. Certainly maybe not at the highest level for the rest of your career. So how special to break through with all of that here at Oakmont. Lexi Thompson Very makeable putt there, but she's drifted off.
Got a feeling she might have her name etched on this trophy before it's all said and done as well.
As Christina Kim lines up her putt for par. A lot of conversation about Lexi Thompson turning pro, and a lot of mixed opinions about it. Is it too early? I mean, she hasn't even finished high school and she's out here.
Yeah, she's never even really been in a classroom environment. So there's a social element that she is not real accustomed to. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of maturation that happens, and it's a pretty tough microscope to do that under.
Christina Kim with a smile on her face with a 73. Plus 5. Good week for her.
Consistent. 72, 72, 72, 73. That's very well played.
Well, really good weeks for her. She lost in a playoff in Toledo, and you know that can emotionally zap you when you're coming into a major championship. So good on her.
But we've seen examples of young people in sports that get burned out and turn professional too early. So it is a very delicate thing. But her family, and most of all Lexi Thompson, wanted to turn pro, and so here she is, going to be on the road, traveling, and with the way this LPGA Tour schedule is working now, Dottie, these girls are going around the world.
They are. It's more of an adjustment. They are going to petition the LPGA for early entry. Plans to go to qualifying school. And we'll see what happens.
Another deep breath by Paula after piping her drive, Roger.
Perfect tee shot. 182 left to the hole.
Oh, he's moving. See the guy in the green or the blue shirt back there?
Yeah, it's fine. You can go ahead left of that. If you
Well,
want.
it's kind of left of that. Okay.
Just a hair.
Like the guy in the khaki shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's one of those parts.
Cam, her caddy, Anga's old caddy, is really doing a great job making good choices for her, and then she's performed.
Club that set up that unbelievable birdie there this morning.
And that was key.
That was huge. I think it might have been the shot of the championship for her.
Kept it left. She likes it, I think. Just, Roger, you're going to enjoy this performance. That was fun to watch. Yep.
Safely aboard the 18th with a 4-shot lead. Not thrilled with it. Well, as you look at Paula Creamer, Dottie, you alluded to a key shot that was performed by Paula Creamer to finish up this third round earlier today, especially after she had missed a couple of short putts in the 2 previous holes.
She 3-putted for bogey at the 16th and 3-putted for par at the 17th, but a key drive finds the fairway here and then just traps this hybrid so beautifully. This was the 72nd hole location they used in the 92 Women's Open. Paula puts it in a spot where there is virtually no break, uphill. Goes on to hold this putt to absolutely shake off any nerves there were from the previous 2 holes and take that lead into the last round.
That was a 3-shot lead as she finished up with 5 holes this morning with a third round. So again, a long week. And the shades finally come off for Paula Creamer, who ever since she found out about that academy in Florida and the family moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, this is what she has been waiting for, and probably with all the trouble she has had with her thumb, missed the cut last week, changed medication, and it's all come together here at Oakmont. A model professional, and what I mean by that, has always been a natural at handling all of the attention, as accessible as any professional on this tour, gives thoughtful interviews. It's not all about Paula Creamer. She gives a lot back to this game, very involved in charity work as well. And again, she's just 23 years old.
Actually hosted a really cool fundraiser last year with Arnold Palmer for the Children's Hospital there in Orlando, and it was extraordinarily well received by the professionals who also participated, but by the community itself.
The only child of Paul and Karen Creamer, who poured a lot of efforts into turning their daughter's dream into a reality here.
You know, with this 9th win in the major, she has more than double the total for Beth Daniels, Sorensen, and Ochoa combined at that same age. So, I mean, you're talking about a hot start to a career.
Lives just a street over from her parents. Very close with them, obviously. In fact, her dad says he takes care of 2 houses, his own and Paula's.
Why not?
But hey, she learned to bake when she was in this little recovery stage from surgery. Mom and Dad got to do most of the taste testing. It's not a bad deal.
You know, she's a sweet. On one hand, she's very sweet, but she is tough as a competitor. It's an interesting, great combination. A very great personality, but boy, determined. He says, "I don't just want to be number one. I want to stay there."
A girly girl on the other side. I mean, so, you know, all the accessories. That's her own line of sunglasses. She's got all the clothes. Travels with plenty of suitcases. Dottie.
She travels with a bunch, but I want to give you just a perspective on how much she wants to beat you when she gets right up to head. She has never lost in singles in Solheim Cup play.
Wow.
She'll just stare you down and say, "I'm going to win. I'm going to find a way to win."
It's a well-rounded combination.
Well, Amy Yang at just 20 years old looks like she's going to find plenty of ways to win in her career.
Yeah, I love her game. And she has got that power, that effortless power.
Simple power.
Look at that shot.
First one, eagle at 17.
Ooh. That looked pretty darn good, Roger.
Would have been a nice little eagle birdie finish. There's a 4-shot though here, so
she had the bad drive in the right bunker. Yep. It looked like it was in, and I think Paula thought it was in.
You're talking about how it's not all about Paula all the time. She's looking at it, looking at it.
You can start pulling for people when you got a 4-shot lead on the last green.
What a setting to not only win this championship, but to do it at a place like this.
Well, Roger, as usual, you've had the best seat in the house, and you know she was 2 shots up after 8 holes. In the last 10 holes, she's hit 9 greens in regulation, stiffed it several times, and just played great golf, except for number 12.
Masterful golf. It really has been. It's been just nothing but solid execution. Now, John, this putt, how many U's do you think will be in this cruise? This is just going to come cruising down there.
Yeah, big old slice putt, huh?
Yeah.
These are the kinds of performances you just, you know, you dream about. Back 9, pulling off these kinds of shots on a course like this.
And yeah, this is going to be a great win for the LPGA Tour because they've got some momentum going forward. The economy's starting to turn around. They've got a really solid product. When you get players like Christy Kerr and Paula Creamer win your championships in the middle of the season, that is just an enormous, enormous boost.
Go in the hole!
Good speed. It's going to start sinking in that you just can't lose in a second, Roger. If you get both hands on the trophy, sometimes you can't believe it, huh?
Don't start writing that speech. Grind through the finish and then just let it go.
Hey, it's over. But it's going to be emotional, I think. We're going to see there's some serious emotions in a minute.
Wendy Ward, again, a long time ago, was the closest to Paula when they began this final round, just 3 shots back, but began with a triple bogey at the first. Played +1 golf since then. 37-year-old veteran.
Well, this was an important putt for her. Top 10 return for next year. She's missed the last 2 championships.
Good putt. She's swinging very well.
But a bogey will give Ward a final round 76. There's Paula, who's made pink the dominant color out here, at least in her case on the LPGA Tour. It's always been her favorite color, and she's made it prominent in her golfing career big time. Used to golf with a pink ball, but
yeah, it came out on final rounds. But it is kind of cool going around and watching the gallery. So many little girls out dressed up like Paula Creamer.
Well, she's the Pink Panther. What do you expect?
That's right.
Amy Yang, beginning the day 4 back, 71, finishes off with a bogey at 18. Wendy Ward for her bogey, which will clear the stage for the champion. About to be only the 5th different American to win a national championship in the last 16 years. We've talked about the lack of an American presence in this championship. Julie Inkster, Hillary Lunke, Meg Mallon, and Christy Kerr. By the way, Meg Mallon announcing her retirement from competition this week. A great champion, a great person. We wish her all the best. She's played a lot of good years of golf.
What a final round she put up at the Orchards a few years ago in Massachusetts. Just an amazing final round.
Creamer for par at the 72nd hole. Paula Creamer has broken through with a U.S. Women's Open title. No tears of disappointment this year. Tears of joy for Creamer. Again, talk about that big hug.
Okay. Mark.
There's her mom, Karen. And her dad, Paul.
Let's go down to Gary Koch.
Thank you very much. Here with a very jubilant, I'm assured, Paula Creamer. Paula, how does it feel to finally be able to say you're the U.S. Women's Open champion after being so close?
I don't know. It's crazy. Wow. I don't know what to say. It's been an amazing ride. Oakmont, I love you. All the fans, you know, they pulled me out there all around this whole golf course today. I couldn't have done it without them. And, you know, just thank you, God, and thank you, parents, for giving me the opportunity to be out here.
Have you ever played better golf under intense pressure?
No, I don't think so. I just stuck to my game plan on every hole. I really just tried to do what we planned, and I did, and I executed it, and it makes it so much sweeter.
The 12th hole, the third shot, you were in obvious pain. Was that a concern?
You know, my hand is in a lot of pain, but, you know, I've been just trying to go along with everything that I've been doing and not think about it. Be glad to have a nice rest, and I kept saying, you know, it'd be nice to rest with a U.S. Open championship next to your name, but I tried not to get too far ahead of myself.
Did the time away from the game help you?
Oh, without a doubt. I've matured over the last couple of months. I've been in. It was hard. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, and I prepared for this week for those last 3 months, and you know, I know there's a lot of events in between that, but mentally I was just gunning for this week, and it just makes everything so much better. And Colin, my caddy, God, he's been one of my best friends, and I've been with him forever, and it just makes it so much better.
Well, congratulations, Paula. Very well deserved. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Gary. Could not be a sweeter way to break through in the U.S. Women's Open Championship at storied Oakmont. Paula Creamer is the winner by 4 over Pedersen and Na Yun Choi. Following today's telecast, go to NBCSports.com for the Lexus wrap-up show. Then Saturday on NBC, don't miss the celebrities tee it up in Lake Tahoe. It's the American Century Championship coming your way at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Then tonight at 7, 6 Central, it's an all-new Dateline NBC, followed by Law & Order, Criminal Intent, and America's Got Talent. For our entire crew here, Johnny Miller, Dottie Pepper, Gary Koch, Roger Maltby, Kate Cockrell, and Jane Crafter. Dan Hicks saying so long from Oakmont Country Club, where we salute the latest U.S. Women's Open champion, Paula Creamer.